Hey everyone, Marty and Meghan here playing Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remastered for the PlayStation 4. Meghan,
Yes.
you reviewed this game. This is the third time you've reviewed this game.
Not the third time I reviewed this game, the second time, but
Okay.
I've played this game a whole bunch of times.
A whole bunch, yeah. So this is the package that has both 10 and 10-2 for
Yes.
PlayStation 4. Obviously, these are 15-ish-year-old games. How did they hold up?
It holds up really well, and the cool thing about it is it comes with like Final Fantasy X-2 Last Mission and Eternal Calm and some weird audio drama that you can skip.
Yeah, you could skip. you could as an experiment. You can listen to it.
Yeah,
Otherwise
it's weird though, I gotta say.
You're probably fine spending the 100 hours or so inside the other two games.
Yeah, it's almost like 200 hours or something like that.
Jeez, yeah, they are. It's a couple of long games. Right off the bat, we see the game for a an early PS2 game. It's looking really good in 2015.
Yeah, I really love the HD upgrades that have been done to this version. So this is a PlayStation 4 version, and as you can see, colors are brighter. The light and shadow effects have been upgraded.
Definitely.
Looks really, really good.
Yeah.
The draw distance looks
Yeah,
excellent.
the environments look great. Like everything in the background looks awesome, and I think that's just a testament to the game's strong art design in the beginning.
Yeah,
That
and you
buys
can
just
really
up
see
res
it
and
now.
Textures. Yeah, totally. How do you feel? Do you feel the story has held up? The the VO, the writing, the sort of the journey that
People used to
Peterson
rag
took.
on the VO for this game, but I always liked it. I always thought it was pretty good, and the story is still a lot of fun. I don't want to spoil anything too much, but I just like
spoilers.
15-year-old spoilers. But I do enjoy sort of the character arcs
Yeah, totally.
in 10 and 10-2.
It's a good, early on in the generation, we don't have a lot of traditional JRPGs. A lot of things are sort of like veering towards stuff like, Witcher and Dragon Age and Bloodborne. So it's nice that, we have this option to go back and play, definitely one of the classic RPGs of the PS2 era.
And I always find Final Fantasy X a good entry point for those who've never played Final Fantasy.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's always the weird, since the game doesn't have like a cohesive, or the series doesn't have a cohesive storyline, that a lot of people are like, well, I want to jump in. Where do I jump in? And it's that tough. 10 is definitely one of those go-to, like I'll be like, maybe 6, maybe 10, maybe 7. But 10 definitely visually has aged a lot better than 7.
Yeah, it has aged a lot better,
Yeah.
and I think that's why these remasters are being done, because it has that ability to visually be upgraded. Because with Final Fantasy VII, you'd have to basically redo all of the assets. With Final Fantasy X, it has some nice touch-ups.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I noticed that, like, in this version, for example, you can actually see the enemies look a little more rounded out. They don't have that sort of jaggy PS2 era look to them.
Yeah. There was always that thing where the main characters in your party looked great, but like the enemies and some of the NPCs sort of definitely took a visual hit.
Yeah, even on the the remasters for the PS3 and Vita, it still looked a bit janky.
Yeah.
But the PS4 version, there's been some more color and detail added. Like
Nice.
on the sin scale here, you can
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
see the colors and detail
Yeah, totally.
on their wings, and I really like that.
So you mentioned the PS3 and Vita versions, and that's one of the interesting things is that your save can now carry over between those 3 versions.
Yes, which is really nice if you don't want to start all the way over. You're like, I put 30 hours on my PS3 version, but I really like the PS4 upgrades. I'm going to switch to that, but you don't actually have to start over if you don't want to.
That's great. Yeah.
It seems a little much if you already own the PS3 game and you're like, well, I can own the PS4 game too. But a lot of people enjoy doing that. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If you like what you see right now, and I certainly do, then I mean, I am enjoying this actually.
Yeah.
There's no difference in the gameplay, so the controls are the same, but that's not bad. They were never clunky to begin with.
Totally.
And we're actually listening to the original soundtrack right now, which is an option in the PS4 remaster. Which
Okay. Which
tend to be
wasn't
a
an
purist.
option
It was not an
really.
option before. So
Okay.
a lot of people like the arranged soundtrack
Yeah.
that came with the remaster, but I prefer the classic one.
Yeah.
So I like having the option to go back and listen to that.
Yeah, totally. And the battle system holds up well too. The overdrive stuff's always cool because it has that quick mini game, fighting game sort of thing where you're worried every time you're using it that whether or not you're gonna be able to actually get it off in time.
Yeah, I love that overdrive.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
I think it works really well.
Yeah, and again, you can see like the boss. There's more detail. There's more shade and
yeah, definitely. I mean,
shadow and
this
lighting.
does not look like a game from, like we said, nearly a decade and a half ago.
Yeah.
Couple bummers about this though.
Yep.
One of the things you can't skip cutscenes.
No, you can't skip cutscenes,
Yeah.
which is a bummer because they do tend to go on, and they always happen right before a major boss battle.
Yeah.
So if you fail the boss battle, you get to watch a 20-minute cutscene all over again.
Yeah, and that's particularly tough. Like if you played the PS3 or the Vita version recently and sort of just want to replay the game for the gameplay, and you're like, I remember the story, or you just don't care about the story, not having the option to skip past that is sort of one of those cardinal sins.
Yeah, but that's the only real negative that I can think of.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
otherwise, the game holds up really well. I absolutely love the visual upgrades here. I mean,
Yeah.
things are so much more clear and bright and more colorful,
Yeah.
which I really appreciate. I mean, this is a pretty game to begin with,
Oh,
but
totally.
to see it
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
it.
Running in 1080. It's a little bit of a bummer, personally, that maybe I've just gotten spoiled on a lot of PSN games, but that the Vita and the PS4 versions are, despite the fact that they talk with each other, they're not cross-buy.
yeah.
That's I think one of the best things that the Vita and PSN has going for it is that you can buy a game once and you can be playing it at home and then take it on the road with you, and that would be really cool. Like I would love to put some time in this on PS4 at home, and then when I go on a trip, be able to continue, on Vita without having to buy both versions. But
Yeah.
that's just me. Final Fantasy X. This is good. This is the. Hopefully, this will quench people's thirsts after.
Yeah,
Dusk
it's a
Sky.
classic JRPG.
Yeah.
So even though it's not cross-buy, even though you can't skip the cutscenes, visually it's beautiful. It's a great way to experience Final Fantasy X. It's a great starting point for those
Totally.
who have never actually played Final Fantasy before.
Yeah, absolutely. And 10-2 is definitely strange, but in a good way. Like
It's
an
goofy.
endearing way. It's goofy. It's different. You have the sort of the costume changes.
Yeah, the dress spheres actually work really well. Like,
Yeah.
it's a really fast change. You change classes really quickly. All the classes are effective. I don't remember any dress sphere or class that I didn't like.
Studs, yeah, and it's definitely it sort of paved the way for Lightning Returns. Sort of the schema changes in that game felt a lot like the dress system.
Yeah, it definitely did. It's like
outfitting
it's
Lightning.
almost like basically based on that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
if you liked that in 13.3, but you 13.3 Lightning Returns, but you haven't played 10.2, well then you probably like the battle system in 10.2. And there's also a small video, I guess you could call it Eternal Calm, which explains what happened between 10 and 10.2 if you want
nice.
to check that out.
Yeah.
And then there's another game for 10.2 that's called Last Mission, and that's sort of you climbing a tower, and you find out what happens to Pain and Riku and
nice.
Yuna, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Very cool.
And there is the audio drama I mentioned, but you can skip that.
You can skip it,
you
or
can-
just get it on your Vita. Just listen to it while you're taking a walk through a park.
Exactly. So I gave the original remaster a 9.3.
That's a fantastic score.
It is a fantastic score. I'm also giving this a 9.3.
Perfect.
So if you are interested in this game, I would check it out.
Yeah, this is it. This is one of those classic JRPGs from the last couple decades. So
That's what I get for not paying
while
attention.
if you've already gone through Type 0 and you've exhausted the Dusk Sky demo and you're just excited for 15 to be coming out, maybe check this out and hopefully bide your time with this. Thank you very much, Megan.
Thank you.
Read Megan's full review of Final Fantasy X and 10.2 HD Remastered on PS4 on IGN. And for everything else Final Fantasy, you're already in the right place, right here with us at IGN.